Hey! So I wanted to make a quick video just sort of introducing the Monday.com videos that I have on this playlist, because the term interactive video sounds both vague and I think maybe a little more showcasey than it really needs to be. So I'll outline the project first. We got a request at my company to do some training based on Monday.com. And Monday has its own very good training modules. It takes you through what all of the different terms in Monday.com mean, things like, defines a board, shows you how to make a new item, all that good stuff. But it wasn't exactly curated for our company. So what we had was a lot of C-suite level or director level people that had never used the software before that got in and were finding their way around somewhat. It was more or less intuitive, but when they had very kind of defined questions for our company's projects, they didn't know how to find the answers to those. So they would be emailing people back and forth, and it was took a long time to answer some questions where we figured out that we could make some training and very sort of quickly kind of resolve some of these issues. So that is why we needed any training. Now, as most instructional designers know, if you are trying to create learning for some sort of an interface, and you really want to intuitively explain every little thing about this training, most of us will be drawn towards an e-learning solution because you can guide learners sort of step by step through all of these different screenshots and have them kind of get in there, play around. I think that is the thing that will teach learners the most in-depth about a program that we have access to. Because if it's just about teaching an interface, there's all sorts of little bots and things that you can install to sort of walk your learner through at the time, but we don't usually have access to those. So e-learning is probably the most accessible way to lead somebody through a set of software interfaces or screenshots and ensure that they really know the program. As I mentioned a minute ago, all of my stakeholders, or all of my potential learner audience, was C-suite level or director level. So just envisioning what it's like to go to somebody at that level and be like, hey, I know you had a quick question that you're asking your SME, but do take this 15-minute e-learning instead. As you can conceptualize, that was not the easiest sell to make. So I sat there and I sort of pondered okay, well, here are the couple of most common questions that we get about Monday. We do want to prompt them to click through Monday and explore themselves because it is very intuitive and you can kind of figure out a lot of these answers to your own questions as you go. But we also do understand why people are coming to our SMEs and overloading them with emails because even if it's fairly intuitive, it doesn't look a lot like Excel, and with any software, people are going to be afraid to break things. So they really didn't want to click around and play too much because they were just sort of afraid what was going to happen. So we can't do an e-learning. We need to make something that's fairly intuitive. No one has time to answer a ton of emails or to get very in-depth with an e-learning, or no one ever has time for training, right? So sat there and I kind of puzzled over what do we need, what's the easiest to, kind of get people to actually click on and sit through. And we figured out that most of our micro-learning videos that we had were under 5 minutes, and those had a pretty decent success rate. So I created some interactive videos. These you'll see in this playlist full of, I have 3 videos on this playlist. I made more for the company, but I think these do a good job of sort of showcasing the strategies that I had to implement. So you'll see as you go through these videos, I think the longest one is 5 minutes and 30 seconds. At this point, most of them were under 5 minutes. And there are these little pause screens where learners are encouraged, but not forced, to pause the video, clone and play around in a completely safe Monday board. You can play with this, you can ruin it, nothing will happen to it, it is only a test. So to play around that Monday board, try to sort of, find the answer for themselves and safely get to kind of play and make mistakes, and then the video will resume on its own and give them the answer. I based this on, as I was trying to explain this to a stakeholder, it's a little kind of high level, So as I was explaining this concept to my stakeholder, I used the term Dora the Explorer training because that is what it is, right? As we pause the video, we ask for learner feedback, we give them the opportunity to play around safely, but if they don't engage with it, the video is going to continue playing. So it does give them the answer. So in a very fast way, it will answer the learner's questions. Like I said, these videos were based on a bank of several questions that we got very often. But it also encourages learners to clone their own board that they can safely play around in. It gives them that space to kind of make mistakes, to be able to really explore the interface without having to really worry too much. And it shows them how to go and find things for themselves. So we have had a lot of anecdotal feedback on this, saying that it's been a really good learning opportunity. My department's been asked to make more of them. We don't have a ton of quantitative evidence, so I can't really give you percentages based on how successful it is yet. I would love in the future, if I do get that information, to make an outro video for this playlist where, I can give you my results. But for right now, what we do know is that learners appreciated this a lot, and it did sort of cut back on the issues with inboxes getting filled up with the same question. Now SMEs, at least if they are getting the emails, they can kind of forward these videos over to the people that are asking. So yeah, in general, it's been a really well-received project. I have not seen a lot in the L&D industry that combines short videos with that kind of prompting, that really asks our learners to kind of go out and sort of explore for themselves. Usually, if you are playing in that space, usually it gets relegated to an e-learning. So I was just really proud of this sort of marriage between these two strategies. It's easier for learners to sort of accept that, they're going to sit down and watch this because it is only, under 5 minutes, but it does sort of, sneakily help them to kind of click around and find these things for themselves. So I was really proud of these. I hope you enjoy them. Please leave comments if you have ideas about what I could have done better, if you have any questions about why I chose to do certain things certain ways, because this was curated to our company, so there's a few strategies in there that were employed very specifically for a certain audience. So yeah, if you have anything you want to follow up with me on, feel free to leave a comment, please, or subscribe to this channel, or come find me on LinkedIn. My name is Zoe Sugg. I do instructional design consultancy, and I would love to talk to you. All right, see you later.